Hello everybody and welcome to Lucky by Nature. I am Beastdaemon and thank you for hanging out with me today. Please show your amazing support by smashing the like button, and if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe so you can get your daily dose of Ark. Alright guys, so for this tip I am going to show you how to make it to where the cables are nice and neat and you can connect more than just one Jenny. And so if you notice over on this side, when you try to put one of these cables, it always tries to go to the ceiling on the bottom, as you can see, and you can try to go to the top, and that's what it centers on. So obviously that's not gonna work. We could put a cross section here. Oops. So we could put a cross section here, but if you do that, then you see the huge gap at the top, and so that will not work. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. So in order to make this work and make it go more to where you have more control over it, you're gonna need some catwalks. And when you put the catwalk, it doesn't really matter which side you put it on. I like to put it on this side if I'm gonna go off of this over here. But just to give you an idea, so you can see it'll still work on this side. It's just I don't really have that much room, but you see how it works right there? And you can see it. If you go to this side, it's the same thing. You can see basically where it's at. Now, how I know if it's going to be right in the middle is obviously you go off the catwalk and you see where that's pointing right there, the very tip of that cable. That's the middle. And so what I do then is I go up and down a little bit because you do have some control. And let me go ahead and because I'm in flight mode here, so let me take that off. Put walk. Alright, so now that we're walking, we have a little bit better control, and if I go too low, it instantly tries to snap to the ceiling. So I want to be right in the middle there. And I want to go up just barely, and let's go down, and if it snaps down, then we just barely move back up to try to get it to snap right where we want it. And usually what I go off of is that second to the bottom, that little rivet or whatever you could call those. So right around there. I think that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and put it there. Then let's come over here, and I always screw that up. My letters are not there, but anyways, so let me take that off. So now you basically want to snap it to the actual Jenny on the bottom, because there's two choices. That's the actual bottom of that cable that we put up, or we make it snap even lower, which is to the Jenny, to the cross section that we put in the Jenny. You can try moving around like this, and to me that's a little bit harder, or you can just use the button to cycle through, and that's much easier, as you can see. So whenever you put this in, you will automatically notice that this is yellow, so it is powered up. So now we're gonna need the fly, so that way it'll just make it easier for me to show you. And once you're up here, you gotta set this up already right in the center, obviously just like the other one on the bottom. And then let me see if I can remember. Nope. Yeah, there we go. And now obviously you have two choices, two places that you can actually snap, and that's the bottom of this or actually the top of this cable out here, but on this side, which is not what you really want. You want it to snap up here on top. But if you want to have more than just 2 jennies, then basically you gotta do the same thing that you did at the bottom, without putting this cross section in there. So in this situation, what we would do is we would put this there, and then we would come over to this side and put the next one in there. But it's gonna be obviously much harder because of the one that's already there. But I think that should be fairly close, I think. Right around there, I would say. But it is harder because I am on fly mode here. So it makes it a little bit tougher than if I was just on my feet just like I was earlier. But I would say it would probably be around there. Let me see if I can, yeah, that's center. Right around there. So actually that may be a little too high, but I think you get the idea. So what we want to do is we want to put this in. Yeah, that's a little too high. Yep, so it didn't take. But I think, like I said, I think you get the idea. But these two right here are connected, so everything is good to go there. If you are going to try to do this right here on stone, it's actually very different. Well, it's a little different. So let me go ahead and go to walk mode again. And this would be more or less for people in PvE, because usually in PvE they don't really build in metal. But what you do on this, depending on which side you want to do it, that is where you have to put the catwalk. So for instance, if we want to do it on this side, then you put the catwalk on this side. And then you can actually see the cable, as you can see. So right there is where you would want it, because otherwise it snaps down. And then once you got it where you want it, then you can go inside the wood, and now you know that you're right smack in the middle. Or you can also look down this catwalk, and that's right down the middle. But if you go to this side, it won't work. As you can see, it's not gonna do it. It's always gonna be snapping to the ceiling on the bottom. So if you wanted to do it on this side, that's when you would have to put a catwalk on this side, and then it would actually work, as you can see. Yeah, you can see it. But now it actually snaps where you want it. But that's pretty much the only difference. So there you go. So let's move on. Alright guys, so I know that a lot of you guys use cages for these little guys here, so that way they won't be wandering around all over the place, because as you know, in order to make fertilizer, you have to keep these guys on wander. And if you notice, this one is on wander because it says disable wander, but it's also following this big guy here. And I found that the best thing to do with these guys is just have a dino that you're never ever gonna move. Like actually in this situation, the best thing to use would be this guy here, because as you know, the Pheomia is the poop maker, and these guys love the poop. So you can have these guys following the Pheomia, keep the Pheomia inside your building. And actually you can have a whole bunch of these in the same area, in the open area. So that way you can just go in and take out the goodies, the fertilizer. But I found that this is the best thing to do with these guys, instead of making a bunch of cages. Although the cages do look kind of nice. But yeah, that's just a little pro tip there that can be very, very helpful. So if you have a lot of plants to take care of, obviously you're going to need a lot of fertilizer. And in order to get a lot of fertilizer, you need a lot of beetles, and the most important piece is the poop. But many of you may know this little trick that if you have a Pheomia, and all you need is one, and you want to make sure that it has plenty of food in there, which right now it's a little low, but what you want to do is you want to put stem berries and just force feed them. So here we go, and as you can see, the poop is coming out like crazy. But also notice that the food is going down quite a bit. So then what we need to do is get some berries and put them in there so that way it can replenish its food. But look at all these chunks of poop that you can use for your beetles. But obviously in Aberration, you can actually use the rats. But it doesn't work the same way. Well, it kind of does and it kind of doesn't, because if you try to feed it like we did that one, nothing is going to happen. As you can see, well, that one just, it was there already, so. But I'll show you again. See, there's a bunch there, and see there's no new poop. This is still the old poop. So for these guys to actually poop like the Pheomia, you actually have to be riding them, then go in and force feed the stem berries, and then look at it go up and down. And it's just like the Pheomia, the food is going down rather quick, but you have a whole bunch of poop that you can use for your fertilizer. So that is a neat little trick. I didn't know if you all knew about that. I know that the Pheomia has been around for quite some time, but the roll rat, that's something fairly new that I think a lot of people know, but not everybody. So hopefully somebody out there gets to benefit from this tip. So let's go ahead and move on.
My work saved the human race.